is here to talk to us a bit about her work. She will discuss and save any questions you have at the end, and you can ask her, and she can respond about her ideas and how she creates her work. We will be producing a catalog, so check back in a few weeks. We'll have a commissioned writer to write about her work, and then we'll publish a color catalog for it. So anyway, join me in welcoming Adela here to Austin.
Thank you so much. So my name is Adela Andea. I'm a light installation artist. That means that I actually go in the space and I get very familiar with the surrounding, and I create on the side an installation. So it's not just bringing new work that was previously produced, like some of the pieces that you see in the show, but I create based on the architecture and dynamic of the space. Like this installation that is right behind me. It's a new work. Actually, I haven't shown this anywhere else. And I decided to take some new risks and move on into a new direction with this magnifying plastics. Most of my work, and I'm calling myself a light artist, but I do work with other materials as well because I like to modify the way the light is perceived. And the title of the show, it reflects that there are different ways to measure the way light is perceived by the eye, and intensity, and also in the surface. So it depends on how large the area and how it is seen. And for me, that's a very important aspect. And I hope everybody can actually analyze all those details. I started actually like a painter, and I got my undergrad BFA in painting, and I started to paint on objects. I never called myself a sculptor, and I wasn't happy how the paint actually was functioning, how I was looking at the object and how bright it was. So I switched actually to the source, which is light. That's how we perceive any color. So it seemed like it was a sudden move or an overnight change for me, and I was at the end of my program at that point. But it was a very long process to get to that point. And some of the formal elements and artworks that were seen as related to the art before, like very organic forms, I started to lose them over time, and I focused more on technology. Skipping forward a few more years, I got actually my MFA in new media. I was the first graduate at the University of North Texas. We opened a new program, and actually I pioneered several ideas. So a little bit about my work. If you want to talk about myself, I can do that, answer questions at the end. But I'm inspired actually not just by this, how the light is perceived. I'm inspired by consumerism, and I'm inspired by how nature and environment is treated today. So I don't think also that there is a separation between technology and inspiration or organic forms or whatever we call, the artistic side. So I try to combine so that I don't treat them as antithetical. Now there is, that question that I get, like, how is this functioning? Because, whatever you see here, light, and some materials, they come from the consumer market. And the answer is I'm using the latest technology, and I'm using the best technology on the market to inspire actually consumers in that direction, which is right now it's LED and CCFL. They consume less energy. And I was actually, when I started to work with light, one of my concerns was looking at contemporary art and looking at artists that have been using light. There was no progress. It seems since Dan Flavin, and James Sturman is working indirectly with light, and he doesn't show what type of light it's working, but everything has been neon. So for me it was very important at that point to introduce technology as well, and this is how new media actually came into place. And I'm throwing a lot of ideas in the same time as you, and it all makes sense. So interrupt me and ask me questions if you have any as I'm talking about the work. So I'm creating generally like full environments to be immersed in, and this is something I I hope you're not scared by the fish, and the only thing that's going to happen maybe just push it back a little bit and really get immersed into the artwork. Well, let me know if you have any questions. No?
Is there any fluorescent light in the show?
No.
It's all LED.
It's all LED, CCFL. Trying to look, and I also have kinetic elements in some of my works. Actually, in the beginning, when I created one of my biggest first installation using light, I used the CCFL, and I also wanted to be very didactic with the audience at that point because it was called the Green Cyber Web, and I was talking about technology and internet, and I created these spiders because there's a web, and I mechanized them. But however, I started to lose those type of forms, and I just used the engines as I moved forward. Like, I want to see the technology as an art form by itself. Of course, a lot of things are modified and specifically worked for different purposes, depending on the piece, the size, the scale. It's very important what type of technology goes and how I calculate that. But it also functions visually for some parts. Like, you can see all the cables, or you can see some of the engines, or you can see every cable actually in it. So.
I have a question. Are any of these items for sale?
Oh yes.
Okay, but tonight?
There is a list, but they printed
Yeah.
a list, yes, and I represented by two galleries, so you can stay in contact, yes.
Can we touch it? Can we touch your?
Depends what.
Say no.
Touch that?
Yes, I
Let's
know.
say no, let's say no, so we stay with no. Well, there are different parts that, if you touch the fence, it will hinge. And I had an installation when I had a lot of small children coming to see the work, and it was not protected, it was in the museum, but they still did not protect it, and they put their fingers.
That would be a lot.
But there are other issues like, with, going in the piece, by this which gives me extra work.
So where did you get all the reflectors? All the reflectors from the transparencies?
Oh, well, I do work, it's part of my process, and that's where, actually, it's a funny story because I get warranties from the manufacturers, and then I destroy them and offer my own warranties to the collectors. So I do work with different places, different suppliers and manufacturers, which are top secret.
Okay, now that's fun.
No, I'm just kidding. But it is part of my process, yes, to find the materials and find ways to work with it. Yes.
Have you done works bigger than this before?
Oh, yes.
And what's your largest one?
Actually, I'm glad you asked this question because I've been on tour like some rock stars, right? I've had 5 shows this month, and one of the largest one was in Palm Beach, Florida, and it was 36 by 36 feet by 20 feet, and I needed a 53 feet long truck to get my artwork there, and scissor ladders to get everywhere I wanted to get. It was a gigantic enterprise to work at that scale because I walk around and I look at things, and at that scale I started to lose perspective. I had to really go back to see what's going on from all angles. And I do get very ambitious. I don't know why, but I do get until I'm exhausted physically in the installation. I think that that's a good installation because I gave everything to it. And yes, I did work very large this month and before as well, if you want me to talk about. I mean, I did outdoors as well. And not with these materials, different type of materials.
I have a question. So when you are preparing your work, you say you prepare your work on site.
Well, some parts, like all this web, I have to create it on the site. And I have to feel the space, how it works. And move, actually, I was having that to move the walls because I create my own space, but if I go into space, I have to work with what's there and make it work by kind of being in the space. And they already know because when I walked in here, they want me to have all the help possible. And I said, I need to be by myself. I just need to meditate in here and see how it's going to go.
So also, like these other pieces, the ones on the wall and the standing piece here, do you do mostly kinesthetic and tactile, or you actually do some drawings too in preparation?
I don't know, not many drawings, but I teach drawing.
Okay.
But I do sketches which nobody can understand what I'm talking about here. If I have to prepare something for a space, I'll do Photoshop, and that would make sense because I can see what's going on here. Otherwise, I just do things for myself. When I create sculptures, like this is a freestanding, I do have to work with the materials and create a structure and analyze it kind of with all the rules that architecture applies to buildings. That's how I construct my sculpture. So even though it's a smaller scale of the building, it's stable and it is sturdy and it can be transported. This one will come in pieces. There are only several scraps I had before. I didn't have so much fun with this. Came in boxes, but then I started to expand here and really work with what I had to say.
Thank you so much.